think we've prepared really well all week. It's been very difficult in terms of preparation over the last month, in terms of getting new players in. You know, with 2 debutants today, 2 debutants last week, and we had an inexperienced team out last week as well. But we had trained well. You know, we sort of made a conscious decision as a staff, really, and as a group, that before we could run, we'd have to walk, and we'd have to sort of start covering some things that in any normal circumstances we would have done 2 or 3 months ago in pre-season, and we just felt, you know, we wouldn't be able to go forward without laying any foundation in this team. So we spent a fair period of the week not really concentrating on fixing things up from last week or concentrating on Catalans, just laying some foundation about this team. So yeah, I'm pleased. I thought we prepared well. I thought in terms of attitude this week, I didn't have any trouble at all picking the guys up, or confidence didn't seem to be an issue. It was just a case, look, you know, we know we've got some things to work on before we start to become a team. And I still think that after watching today, I still watched us, even though we've come up with 50 odd points, I still watched us in good ball at times, thinking, I know we'll get better as the season goes on, but you know, sometimes you don't have to kill teams with spectacular football. You just carry the ball hard, work hard in defence, kick the ball well, and it gives you enough position and opportunity, and it gave us that today.
The forwards seem to be exemplary today.
Yeah, the wall. You know, we challenged Tal Lima in the week, really. He's been good game, bad game, good game, bad game, and we challenged him to back up a good performance and strive to be more of a consistent player for us. And Nick Scruton added a lot to it. It was difficult for Nick because he got ill before the game, probably an hour before the kick-off. He had sickness and diarrhoea, and we were starting to worry about the effect it would have on his energy levels. But he knocked out sort of 45-50 minutes straight. Having said that, the first half, you know, a lot of points scored and a lot of penalties, so there were enough breaks for us to manage that. And losing Washy after 8 minutes, you know, again, could have had an effect. Johnny Malloy's first game, Matty Wildy's first game. So I'm pleased with the contribution from some of the, I suppose, less heralded guys that have come in at short notice. We're not much game time under the belt this year.
How was Danny?
Kerman?
Yeah, Danny Washbrook. Yeah,
Danny Washbrook. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, he's got a bit of a calf strain, so we're not quite sure at this moment in time. We'll see how it pulls up, but he certainly won't all right to go back. And Danny Kerman just tightened up with his hamstring a little bit too. So I thought as outside backs did a good job. We talked at half time about getting his outside backs to carry the ball out of his own half and leave the big guys to, you know, try and dominate in the middle from a tackle point of view.
And Peter Godney came off second half. Was that injury or?
Yeah, cramping up. We were actually cramping up, and you know, we got Paul McShane. He'd done a long stint on the sideline, and Matty Wilder were travelling okay. So we just didn't feel any need to take any sort of risk whatsoever where that one was concerned.
Pretty impressive display with the boat from your new kicker as well.
Yeah, we just talked about it in the changing room. I think, you know, your ability to turn your 4s into 6s have a huge impact on the game, and certainly at half time, the fact that he nailed all the goal kicks. And once we got that first try after half time, I don't think I've ever, certainly with this team, ever felt as comfortable for the last half hour of a game. You know, I think we got out to 6 or 7 converted tries at one point, and you know, it was nice to be able to make decisions and substitution based on, you know, not winning a game and looking after people, I suppose.
Any other questions?
Just one. Sorry, go on. Richard, can you commiserate with Catalans in your way, since you know most of these guys?
Yeah, I can. I see similarities in ourselves. You know, I look at some of the teams that are going really well and started the season well, and I think they've had everybody in for a great pre-season. And we know, I'm not saying we haven't had a good pre-season, but we've had a patchy one in terms of the amount of guys we've got in 3 days before the season, and then we get some in week 2, then some in week 3, and it just robs you of a hell of a lot of preparation time and laying that foundation that we've talked about. And you know, some of those French guys have played rep football for a lot of years, you know, on the back of a World Cup year, and would have had very, very limited preparation time. For Laurent, he's hit with injuries, and he's got some suspensions in there as well, and that's tough. You know, they've got some really good players not in the team, and you know, they've been travelling every week as well, so it's difficult for them, you know, and I do commiserate with them. You know, they're a good bunch of people, right from the chairman and owner to the coach, and they're doing it tough at the moment. But again, they'll get better.
Another crucial game on Saturday, against London Broncos, Richard.
Yeah, well, people are, we're building this as a 4-pointer, but I wasn't getting too carried away on defeats or too upset about the defeats, and I'm not going to get too carried away on this win either. It's how you perform over 27 rounds, and let's say we've got a win next week. You're in playoff positions, but it's stupid to talk either way at this moment in time. People need to be having a look at it a little bit further down the track. I believe London have, I don't know the final score, but I think they've performed all right for appearing against Warrington today. And again, they're a team that now they've finished the recruitment, that they'll improve, and we've got to go away from home as well. So, we won't be taking that game lightly at all. They're all important games, and I probably feel how I felt after round 1. I'm really disappointed in round 2. With our effort against Bradford, but I am confident that we've got some guys coming back and some good players too, and we'll continue to improve as a team as the season goes on. I think the sides out of the top 8 are always prone to a questionable performance here and there. Everybody will get that during the year, so yeah, we'll recover well and try and back it up next week. Go back to back and have a good week's preparation like we have this.